And all right, recording in progress. And now, ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, we are going live. Got it. All right. We are live, everybody, live on social media or wherever you get your finest news and information for your life's work. Here we are. Welcome. And thanks everybody in the panel for being here. I have some things I want to talk about before we get started. Number one, welcome to the show. It's our current event show. This is 167th meeting consecutive. You know, it reminds me of that old Stephen Wright joke where he's walking into a store where the sign says open 24/7, but they're closing the doors to the shop. And Stephen Wright says to the owner, he said, "Hey, the sign says you're open 24/7. And the owner looks at him and says, "But not in a row." You know, so there you have it. But we have made it 167 times in a row every Wednesday. So thanks so much for supporting us. And just remember, everything you hear today on our current event show is an opinion. So remember to do your own research. And thanks for watching. And thanks for listening. And remember to tell your friends. And if you want to join, you know how to do it. Just DM me from anywhere, or you can be part of the panel. Welcome everybody on the panel. How's everybody doing? How was your week?
Good. I had a Wednesday off.
Very good.
Great. Well, I got a lot of things to talk about, and today did anybody happen to see the picture for this week's show? Anybody happen to see it? Anybody have an idea what this? I think I'm going to have a contest from now on of if you could tell me what the picture is, what it signifies that we're going to talk about. I will do something nice for you. I might even put up some money.
Isn't it on Tina's thing right now?
Yeah, Tina's thing, but basically, Tina, let's see if we could make Tina big. Let me pin her on so you could see it. Let's see, can you see it? Yeah, but we only got half of her. She's only got half of the logo. She's only got half of the logo. It came in the email. There it is. That was the other half. There you go. Let me pin it back. Let me pin it back so you can see it. There it is. So, anybody have any idea what we're going to be talking about today?
Yeah,
based on the picture.
What was it? A Rolex for a half a pound a pot?
There you go. You got it. You absolutely got it. That's correct. Somebody is reading what I'm writing. It's a frightening experience here. Anyway, I want to start off the show by saying thanks for everybody, but it's been a really rough week. Basically, we lost Randy Meisner this week. Randy Meisner, he was, one of the founding members of the Eagles, and a really nice guy. Basically, he died at 77. He wrote "Take It to the Limit," and he sang it. So I always thought Glenn Frey sang that song, by the way. Am I wrong about that? But I guess it's, Randy sang it. Anyway, so in the old days, and when David and I were hanging out in the hills of Hollywood, when we were wild and crazy single guys, I was hanging out with Randy, and he had just gotten this Rolex watch from Irving Azoff as a gift. Irving gave all of the guys in the Eagles, this is when they were just getting started, brand new Rolexes, GMT Masters. But Randy really didn't need the watch. I don't believe he wore a watch. And so he said to me, "Hey, I'll tell you what, if you give me a half a pound of pot, I'll give you the watch." And so there you have it. I gave him the pot, and he gave me the watch. And I'm sure he went through that pot in record time, and I had the watch for a long, long time. And I remember there was a friend of mine, Michael Gladstone, who may he rest in peace as well. And that was the time when digital watches had just come out. And so I had this Rolex and I'm thinking, man, this Rolex is an amazing watch. It's the most accurate watch in the world. By the way, that is incorrect. A Rolex is a piece of jewelry, not really the ultimate timepiece. Because if you don't keep resetting your Rolex watch, it does lose time or gain time. So a Rolex is more of a fashion statement and that, hey, I have made it statement than anything else. Anyway, so Michael says, hey, I just got this digital watch. It's now X time, whatever it was, 2:33, let's just say for argument's sake. And I said, no, it's not. It's 2:36. And Michael said, no, it's 2:33. And I said, no, it's so we called the number in those days, you had to dial a phone number to AT&T, I believe, right? What?
I used to call Colorado, get the U.S. Naval Observatory there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was amazed that he was right on that piece of crap digital watch that he got for like $20, and I'm wearing this $1,000 watch on my wrist, and it really bothered me. So I went into the bathroom. I think you might have been there that day, David, at James Daly's house in the Hollywood Hills. And I am in the bathroom and I am taking a piss and I'm looking down at the watch and I'm starting to say, how could this watch be so expensive if it's not telling time right? And I realized, you know why? Because it's built like a brick shit house and it's indestructible. So I came out of the bathroom and I said, check this out. I know why this watch is so expensive. And I took the watch off and threw it against the wall. Needless to say, I had to bring it to the jeweler to have him put it back together again. And so I was confused why the wall. Anyway, that's my Randy Meisner story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, the first digital watches, you remember this? It was the Pulsar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You needed
Did you believe it?
Expensive. That was as expensive as a Rolex when it first came out.
I remember you needed two hands to tell time because you had to illuminate the numbers. And I said, what a stupid thing. They need a second hand to tell a second hand to tell time.
Yes.
I remember you telling me that when I got the watch.
David, the crazy thing about that watch, whenever I would go near like a horn or a speaker, the watch would go nuts, because of the magnet.
Yeah.
In the drivers on the horn. So I could never wear it, when I was doing a gig.
Well, the best part about that watch is you could give yourself an MRI. That was the best part about it. You were able to give yourself an MRI.
With the early cell phones.
Anyway, another thing that we could talk about is Sinead O'Connor. She just passed away as well. And to round up the three, Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman. So may they all rest in peace. And I'm really happy that everyone on this show has outlived them. That's all I could say, so. But health is an issue for everybody, and Amazon just rolled out a new nationwide e-commerce situation where now they have Amazon virtual clinics, and you access it through the Amazon Prime app on your iPhone or Android watch. I'm sure you could probably get to it on the website too. Has anybody checked it out other than me?
No.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I read about it today, but I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, they have all these different categories. Let me see if I could find it on my watch, my phone. Yeah, basically, when you open it up, they're advertising it right in the beginning. And then I think if you go to the one, it's called One Medical. I'll show you. I don't know if you could see it or not. One Medical, and you open it up, and then all of a sudden it gives you a choice of various categories. I believe it's still loading. There it is. The primary care designed, medical benefits. But basically, it gives you all these different choices. Earlier, it worked a little bit better than it did right now. But anyway, it's called One Medical, primary care designed around you. And check it out. Check it out. Let me know what you think. We'll put a link in the show notes as well. So if you want to see it, so it's available in all 50 states as well. So One other thing we're going to throw into the chat is that CNN had this life study poll that have 8 habits that could add 24 years to your life. And I think one of them was a phony calendar. Carry around a phony calendar that adds extra time. So, basically that's what would happen. So, no, I'm only kidding about that. But there's 8 habits. Let's see if I could look at it.
Don't drink, don't smoke, get sleep with 3 of them. Exercise, of course, is number 4. I read the article, and it was only one of them that I didn't really do very much, just by living my normal life.
They say exercise, never using tobacco reduces the risk of death by 29%. Basically, avoid stress, don't binge drink, get a good night's sleep, being around positive social relationships. Those are all of the things that you could do to stay alive longer. But I recommend the calendar aspect as well. Just get a calendar that's ahead 24 years, and you'll be much better off for yours. You can thank me later. All right, there you go. What else? What else is in the news today that we want to talk about before we get to that? Oh, the Mega Million jackpot is $1.25 billion. What we should do is probably get together and pool our money together and see if we could buy more tickets. That would be like, like a Ponzi scheme. Hey, I know I told you I got that number, but I really didn't place it. And so thanks a lot, guys. It was nice knowing you. I won $1 billion and you'll never know about it. So
it doesn't work like that, though.
Really? I didn't know that.
When you buy tickets for friends or family, you send them copies of the ticket once you purchase it, so that everybody has a copy and nobody can say anything to or question anybody. There is no buy tickets and you just hold on to them. No, we don't do that.
Have you ever heard of Photoshop?
Yeah, I have. The numbers have to they'll be sequential, so they will all match.
Well,
don't in the United States,
you will be found.
Yeah, in the United States, don't you pick your own numbers?
Interviewing people once if you win, like they really go through. They ask you questions like, "How did you pick the numbers? Who did they really investigate you when you win? It's not something that you turn it in and go, I'm the winner. No. You have to go through like an FBI investigation.
That's the reason you go across the state line into South Carolina and buy the tickets, because you don't have to in South Carolina, you don't have to disclose that you're the winner.
Right.
You can pick it up.
There was an article
that do that. You are correct.
There was an article that we had last year about what to do when you win the lottery. Did I say last year? Last week. I don't know what happened to it this week, but I don't have access to it. But if somebody wants to go into the research of last week's show, I did have an article that we found of what to do if you won huge money in the lottery. And I remember the first thing was hire a lottery attorney. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, they do have them available too. We have them up there. Like every attorney that has helped a lottery winner, they disclose. They give you a list.
Yeah, number one is don't tell anybody. Number two,
right. Number 3, change your phone number. That's it. That's it. Change your phone number. Move. Get him a mask and a beard, and get the disguise. Go to the Professor Clouseau's. What was that guy's name in the Clouseau's, where he would go get the disguises?
Yeah,
the Pink Panther. But there was a shop that he would go get his disguises from.
I don't remember.
Anyway, so Live Nation reported $5.6 billion in Q2 revenue as their international markets are exploding. How's everybody? We're all in the entertainment business here, one way or another. Is everybody working?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm busy. I was going to.
What's going on in South Carolina there? North Carolina?
There's a bunch of stuff. I'm just still tagging around, not getting as much I want, but there's stuff going on. helping
But
some
it
other-
seems you're so busy you don't have time to shave. It's great.
Hey, some kid called me Santa Claus last October, so I took up the challenge.
Well, you know, it's okay. I'm telling you, you could come in first place at the Billy Gibbons lookalike contest. You know, if I was still doing lookalikes, I would hire you, you know, for parties. You know, that's it. You know.
So did you hear about Taylor Swift's gift to her crew?
Yeah, 55
No, what about
million.
it?
The bus drivers alone are getting $100,000 bonus each.
Yeah,
And the crew and the band all got bonuses too, but they haven't talked about how much. But just imagine, she's giving away millions of dollars in tips to her crew.
Well, that's really nice. I mean, she's really a phenomenon beyond imagination.
Yeah.
I mean, they during their last concert, where was it? It was in, I believe, Seattle.
yeah.
They were dancing so hard that they shook the ground to the equivalent of a 2.3 magnitude earthquake.
Yeah,
She's in LA this week.
she's at SoFi doing like what 6 shows, her last shows.
Yeah, 6 nights in SoFi starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, her concert must be amazing. I mean, it just, I mean, I haven't seen it. I haven't even seen any footage of it, but I am guessing with the kind of money she's generating, it must be the ultimate in production. Does anybody know anything about the production?
Well, there's a video that's out that shows the opening of the show. And the entire backstage is just a giant wall of a video screen. I'm not even sure where the band is. And then there's a long runway that separates out like a diamond and closes again. And the part of the wall, the video wall, raises up like 20 feet wide and 10 feet tall. And these people start walking out with giant fans and stuff. And they walk down into the middle of the area where it gets wider in the middle of this field. And they're doing this thing covering an area. And she's on an elevator that just lifts up out of the floor. And the whole floor is a video wall. I mean, every inch of that production is video. It's just amazing what she does. And there she is, right in the middle of the place. You can
Does
find
anybody know who a production manager is?
I don't know who the production manager is, but David Payne is their front of house guy. He's been with them with Taylor for a very long time, and he's really good.
Yeah, he must be phenomenal. I mean, and not only that, not only does the show go on inside, but they have a show outside. There's so many people that come that it's bigger than the NFL tailgating parties where they just come in, they just entertain themselves. I guess they could hear them.
I was just going to say, Jen, I wouldn't be surprised if the Fed is, is Taylor playing in Los Angeles this week? Okay. What do we got for the jobs report? Oh, okay. Next quarter, we're not going to raise interest rates because she's generating so much for the economy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, basically the inflation is going down, but it's still not at the 2% that they wanted. Right. So they just had another quarter-point bump, which basically I think that they're going to probably do one more in that, and then they're going to call it quits because the Bank of England just raised their rates, and I believe the Bank of Canada raised their rates again as well. I mean, the American economy is doing really well. It's just right now, there are some people that just don't feel it, but the American economy as a whole is doing really well. And I guess gas prices just went back up. Is that correct, guys?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the problem is with the gas situation is that there's just not enough refineries. And I think that who wants a refinery in their backyard? Raise their hand. Okay, nobody. All right, that's it,
Well, the other thing too is we're getting near the end of summer and they're going to be changing blends here. And that's always a big spike. They have a summer blend and then they have a winter blend. And so every year there's always a change.
Yeah. I mean, you're out in Florida. Could you believe that the water temperature was over 100 degrees?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's crazy.
All the big aquariums in the Southeast are down there right now, and they're rescuing corals and bringing it back, like the Georgia aquariums, big down there. All the all the Florida main aquariums, Tampa has a large aquarium, Clearwater has a large aquarium, Sarasota has a large aquarium. Everybody's just going down there and rescuing all these corals because they're just bleaching out. And
That's horrible news. I mean, yeah, I read about it as well. But as Earth's hottest month on record wraps up, I mean, this was basically the hottest month in the history of recorded time. The over 250 million people in the U.S. faced heat indexes of at least 90 degrees Fahrenheit last week, putting outdoor workers at risk. 436 U.S. workers died from heat exposure. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's the hottest it's been in 120,000 years, according to what they're saying in this article that I read.
I have to challenge that because it's been 10 years since we've had the lowest number of 90-degree days here. We've been cool this year.
Well, it's funny how it works, right? I mean, there's certain areas that are hot, like Las Vegas has broken every heat record. Phoenix has broken every heat record. Death Valley went over 130 degrees. And this blows my mind that there were actually people that decided to go out to Death Valley to experience what it feels like to be at 130 degrees. What
no, they
the
just
hell?
wanted a selfie. That's what they wanted. The idiots.
Crazy. Crazy. 130 degrees. You don't have to go to Death Valley. Just go to your local pizza parlor and get in the oven. That's it. Yeah.
Jan, that's the same guys that drive around the snow gates in Wyoming and then complain when they get their car buried 6 feet of snow.
Speaking of driving around, did you see that Toyota is now going to unveil the new retro style? They're bringing back the old style Land Cruiser. I love that car. I absolutely love that car. I bought the 4Runner, which was almost like the Land Cruiser, but the Toyota's bringing it back. They're bringing it back as the older version. I don't think they're probably going to, computerize it on the inside, but on the outside, it's going to look really similar to the old version. It's a great car. And speaking of driving around, Yellow Freight went out of business. Yellow Freight, 30,000 truck drivers are now out of work because of Yellow. But it really won't. Unfortunately, it won't affect. Or fortunately, should I say, it won't affect much of us. Had like UPS going on strike, then it would have affected every one of us. But Yellow, these drivers will be absorbed into the economy.
Well,
anybody use Yellow for their freight service?
A little bit, but I've noticed Old Dominion has just really been advertising like crazy on top of that. So they're trying to steal business.
Well, Dominion, Dominion, Yellow, Road something. What's that other name of the company? Something?
Roadway.
Yeah. I mean, they all added in air ride trucks, but in the beginning, they didn't have any air ride trucks at all. And so it was really difficult to put any kind of delicate electronics on that. So, but, hey, goodbye, Yellow, and hello, Blue. That's it. Or Purple, FedEx, UPS, or Brown. I guess there you go. I mean, I just realized that transport companies are the colorful companies in our economy because they all have colors that they go with. FedEx is purple, UPS is brown. I'm sure there's a joke here somewhere.
So, I don't know where the joke is, but Jan, you know why it's FedEx, not Federal Express.
No.
It used to be Federal Express.
All right.
When they changed their name to FedEx, it saved them over $10 million in purple ink cost for their forms.
No, that's crazy.
That's how much purple ink that they were buying. And purple ink is one of the most expensive inks to buy.
Yeah, it's because that's the form of royalty. Purple is, when it comes to royalty, you think purple,
Everybody called them FedEx at that time anyway, but there were, and it was something like 1,000 pounds worth of paint off of their airplanes because purple's a heavy paint on top of that. So
well, hey, Speaking of paint, did you hear about what Purdue has done? They've created a white paint that is so white. It's so white that it reflects the heat so that it could reduce surface temperatures on roofs to be cool on the building below. In other words, no heat will get through this white paint.
Mhm.
Did you hear about that, Brian?
That's old news. When I was still
Yeah.
working with Family Dollar stores, we used that type of white paint on our buildings all the time.
Yeah.
To
Well,
reduce the
even
heat.
in LA, there's a big project in LA right now to put white over all the asphalt.
That's right. They've already started streets in LA. However, it is old news, except they re-released it like new news again.
Right.
It's
But
new
they say it
news
really
now.
works, so.
Well, that just shows you how far behind Purdue is.
Yeah, it's new news. Well, you know, I mean, but they do have good chicken, though. You got to admit, the Purdue chicken is pretty good.
That's a
Byron,
different
I
family.
remember seeing that, I think on 60 Minutes about a year ago or so.
Yeah. Well, there you go. With a comment like I just made, once again, the theme of the show,
well,
it's better
Brian,
to appear stupid than to open your mouth and remove all doubts. There you go. There, I've violated the rule of the show by saying Purdue chicken. There you go.
So-
I knew I was
so
only kidding.
On the other side of the coin, there's who was the college out west? They filed a complaint in the conference because they painted their football field black, and the other teams are not going to be able to handle the heat, and they're practicing on the black field. So
Yeah.
they've gone the opposite direction. They're absorbing the heat for an unfair competition.
Well, yeah, it's well, you know, that would be unfair. I mean, but think about it like this. As speaking of heat, what are they going to do when the Oakland A's start playing day games in Las Vegas in the summer? I mean, that's going to be pretty hot.
Maybe they
do
won't
it in
play
open-
the games.
But yeah, you still do. One out of every other week's a day game at least. Are they going to do it in an open stadium, or is it going to be a roof stadium?
It's open, I think.
They have a.
I thought that was an air-conditioned closed stadium.
They have this this roof, almost like an awning, but it's retractable that has the water coming down from it too, the steam water and stuff. And it's something new they're introducing. But it is open, and it's supposed to face the opposite way. So it's going to face like a little west, the field. Let me see. That's west, northwest. That's what they're saying. It's the direction of it. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's not against the sun. I don't know how that's going to work, but
Mm-hmm.
that's what the
Well,
plan says.
maybe they'll plant a lot of trees. That's probably what they're going to do. They plant a lot of trees. I mean, it'll be hard to play baseball around the trees, but I'm sure they'll be able to make it work. By the way, the U.S. Forest Service is awarding more than $1 billion in grants for planting trees that's aimed to help bringing down the temperatures in the long term. So that's pretty cool. They're going to be planting billions of trees. I think that's pretty cool, you know? So Kenny, where are you? Kenny Newman, where are you? He's giving us the finger. That's
Okay,
all
I
I
was
can
just
say.
trying to figure out how to unmute on the phone. I'm doing it on the phone. I am in Saratoga, California, and we're just doing I'm doing the Chris Isaak show, but they're taking care of the sound check for the opening act right now, who is a guy named David Luning, Luning. Anyway, they're doing the sound check that I'm not doing. So I'm done with sound check. I thought I'd see what you guys are up to.
Very nice. What's the weather like there in Saratoga?
What is the weather like? It's sunny and about 80-ish, so it's pretty perfect.
Just perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was up in
How do
Palo
you-
Alto with.
Let's see. Yeah, go ahead.
I was up in Palo Alto. The weather was gorgeous. I mean, it was 120 degrees in Nevada, and yet just an hour and a half flight away, it was perfect weather, just absolutely perfect. Well, let me hold on, Ken. Let me pin you so we can see what you're looking at. Wow, what a nice theater.
That's the venue. It's all outdoors. There's no roof, and let's see. And as you can see over here, it's a winery that we're at. Can you see the sign? It says Mountain Winery.
Yeah. We just
See,
gave him
that's
some
where we
free
are.
advertising.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, that's where we are. See, it's pretty nice.
It looks like Spanish architecture, I would say, wouldn't you?
right. Oh, for sure. Check out the building. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this building
Yeah,
is
very
like
nice.
from the 1800s. But I think it says Paul Masson on there if you look closely. But anyway. And
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm flying to Contra Costa County tomorrow up in San Jose.
where? Oh, San Jose. We're right near San Jose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come to
So-
see
That's
us
where I was.
Wait, where are you going to be, David? Where's your show? I mean,
at the fair, at the county fair with
no
Hotel
kidding.
California.
we are going to be in Napa tomorrow. I guess is there a city called Napa? But that's where we are tomorrow in Napa. And then the next day we're off, and then we go to Temecula,
Napa's
I think, or
nice.
something like that. Look at this. So you see this up here? These are the vineyards up here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Pretty cool, right?
Very nice. I guess you're drinking plenty of wine. Keep the show going.
Well,
That's
yeah,
it.
right. Yeah,
Plenty of
anyway.
wine.
nice venue. And here's my little setup. There's Jamie. She's doing the lights tonight. She's trying to get all programmed up. Where are you? There you are. Right. This is all backwards. The camera's backwards. Anyway, isn't it backwards? Let's see. Does it read properly? Anyway, and that's
It's
my
reading
little
fine.
world
We
there.
won't know
Oh,
the
yeah.
difference between
that's-
left and right anyway.
That
Only
is
you will.
definitely backwards. That is definitely backwards. Anyway, that's my little setup there with my computers and stuff, and my little CL5 console, and hopefully it'll sound nice. And then this is the setup for the opener, which is a QL1 that John, the house guy, has got going, and he's controlling it from his iPad right now for the sound check that's happening right now.
Now, do you travel with that stool?
No, this stool here, that is
Yeah.
nice. And John was nice enough to let me use his stool today because I don't have a stool. So I travel with that console. I travel with this case. I travel with these computers and this rack that's underneath the console and my other stuff here, but no stool. Not allowed to have a stool.
Didn't you buy a nice chair? Isn't there a nice
I have
touring
lots
chair
of
that you
nice.
bought?
I have lots. Oh yeah, it's called the stealth chair, and I have a stealth chair on my real gig. But this is a vacation. I'm on vacation. You know, this is my vacation gig. All right, I should probably mute because it's going to get noisy here. It sounds like. So how do I do that?
Okay, very
Like
good.
that?
See, Wayne, you got to get one of those stealth chairs for down there, down south there, down under.
I don't think my legs would be long enough for that
Oh,
chair.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Very,
We'll get them
very-
stretched for you. We'll get them stretched for you. I believe I know an Aborigine that does it for a discount price down there. So, you know.
Do you get to
So-
do wine tasting? Do they give you free wine tasting?
Oh, I haven't asked. Since I don't drink, I haven't asked. But I bet if I asked, I'm sure they would let me
Sure.
taste some wine. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
You know, it's a gig.
Yes, you
Yeah.
don't want to be drinking it. You don't want to be drinking when you're mixing.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well-
A lot of people do.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of
Not
people
me,
do.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So,
Hey,
no,
when
it's
you're
not-
drinking, it sounds better to you. That's for sure. You know, that's it. You know, may not mean that sound better to the
Best
audience,
sounding
but it'll
show
sound better
ever.
to you.
Yeah, best sounding show ever.
No, Wayne, you got that backwards. The more you drink, the better the sound sounds.
For sure, man.
Yeah, that's exactly
hey, Ken-
correct.
Ken, what's the console in? It's doing flashing mode. What's that? Oh, it's just in mute mode, is it?
Yeah, it's in mute mode and the that flash. Oh, it's also got more flashing because of the sync of the video and the signal of the console. Now it looks right,
Oh,
but a minute ago it looked like really flashy. But say if I take this mute off, yeah, right. If I take this mute off, then they stay on, right? Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
It's
muted.
kind
I'm
of
muted. I just
interesting
pressed
that
this right now.
on is red on that console rather than green.
Well, you know, there's no color. It's a mute button, but it's called an on/off button. See, look how fast they're flashing now. But in real
Yeah,
life,
but they
they're
look
not flashing
red to
now.
me from here, for
They're
our image.
orange.
They
Yeah,
look
they're
red.
orange. Yeah, they're orange. Yep.
So what mode's it
You know.
in there now when it's doing that fast flashing?
That fast flashing is just because of the sync of the camera in the phone
Oh, yeah.
versus the sync of the signal in the console.
Mm-hmm.
See, now we all learned something today. There you go. Fred, how's it going over there with you? Is your console flashing?
Always flashing.
There you go. Because it looks like you got white lights there on yours, you know, through the reflection of your glasses.
Oh no, that's just my little uplight. See if I block that, my face is dark.
Ah, very good. Oh yeah, my uplight just went off. What do you know? Look at this. How is this possible? My uplight went off. I guess I forgot to charge my uplight. Oh, damn. Oh well. I'll do it next time.
So
I won't
congratulations.
forget.
So congratulations.
Oh, yes, that's right. I got engaged, ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages.
Yeah.
I thought it was a
congratulations,
full,
Jan.
a full
Wow, good for you.
service. It wasn't.
You're going to be
it's just an
married again.
engagement.
How awesome is that?
Oh,
Congratulations.
every 5 years, I like to get married and divorced just to keep myself fresh. That's about it, you know?
You know, Bo's gonna watch this, you know.
Fortunately,
that's
this
what I've
part of
heard.
the, you know, when I speak fast, she doesn't understand. So
Yeah.
whenever I want to say something that, you know, that I want to say and get off my chest, I just speak it fast. And she says, "Oh, you speak English too fast. I can't get it," you know? So it's all right.
Right.
But no, no, this without doubt, this is the best relationship I have ever been in my life. If I had only one wish, I would have wished this to happen to me when I was younger, but I probably wasn't ready for it when I was younger.
That's very cool.
And that's,
it's
you know,
always good to
but,
be happy.
yeah, I never thought I would ever get married again. That's, you know, I said, no way will I ever get married again. But now I'm thinking that, yeah, I can't wait to get married again. So that's, you know, that's going to be something special. And where we get married, we know when we want to get married. We'd like to get married on the 16th of October because that was the day we met. We know for sure that we met on the 16th of October, and we celebrate the 16th every month as our anniversary. So yeah, Bo is a very special person. Absolutely the most loving and generous person I've ever met in my life. And she doesn't have a mean bone in her body, not a mean bone in her body.
So
And
you're going to do it as you're going to broadcast it? You're going to zoom it out for all of us to be attendees?
Well, it's her wedding. It's her wedding, not mine. I'll be there, but it's her wedding. I told her that, you know, whatever she wants, she can count on me to support her for that. But it's her wedding, and where she wants to get married, that she doesn't really want a big ceremony, but you know, as we get closer to the day, we'll find out. What's
better than a big 85-inch TV with a bunch of squares on it, with people going, "Hey!"
Oh yeah. Especially those that don't speak Thai, you know. But I will tell you said that, Fred. I will tell you that. I'll tell you, and I will also tell her that you will broadcast it on the sports network as well. So there you go. She can. As a private person, I'm sure she'll love that. Hey, Kurt, what's going on there in your world?
Just swamped with gigs, and there's a huge traffic nightmare in Seattle, so I'm having to backtrack 40 miles out of my way to get back to the shop to load up another one.
Hey, I want to give a kudos to you, because for those who are now following Kurt on Facebook, he just did a show where the main console was his gamble, and it looked beautiful. It looked amazing.
The main console, like the main act, used your gamble, really?
Yeah, I've had two headliners. I've had two headliners decide to leave their digital desk in the truck.
Oh, that's awesome, Kurt. And I bet it sounds that much better because of it, right?
Oh yeah, and then we're doing Cake. I got to fly down there tomorrow. I've got Cake in Bend on Friday, and that guy opted for the gamble too.
So what I got to ask you, Kurt, is when you use the gamble, or, you know, do you have a lot of outboard compressors and reverbs and stuff that you can use with it?
Yeah, 10 channels of ESS 402, 10 channels of Drummer Gate, 16 channels of 900 series DBX Gate to comp, and then I have an I-90, M2000, D2, and a Percassi M7.
Oh, that's freaking awesome. That's so cool of you to offer that. That's great. Oh, you're the best, man. You're the best. I wish Chris Isaac was going there. That would be great.
Actually, it's a great rig. You got to go look at it I mean, it's like, it brings you back to the past when you see the pictures, you know, because most people don't have that much outboard gear, but it's really cool. I got to tell you, it's a really cool photo.
Well, the other
They sound better than a lot of digitals.
It sounds better than all digital. And
Yeah.
another thing that I'm realizing is that the loudspeaker technology has advanced so much since these consoles were actually the current best thing out there. that running the gamble through the Panther is actually the best conduit for getting the sound out of the gamble that there's ever been. So as good as they sounded back in their heyday, I believe that what I'm doing is actually presenting the gamble in even a better light than it ever has been before.
Cool.
You know, one of the things that really impresses me about the gamble console, I mean, now we're talking about what, the early 90s is when he first came out with it, or the late 80s? And yet these boards are, say what?
The particular one you're looking at was built in 89. I think they were built from about 85 to 95 at the most.
And here's what's the most amazing thing about it. The parts are still available for that console. If something goes wrong, they're interchangeable parts that you could still get.
Yes, and it's built like a Willys Jeep. I mean, everything is made out of steel. Everything is, flat wire, ribbon cable stuff. There aren't any relays. There's nothing to go wrong. Everything is sealed. All the pots are sealed. Everything in it is military spec. So that console will be running in another 40 years, if someone takes it from me.
Mm-hmm. Now, did they use copper grounding in that board? Did Jim use copper grounding?
I'm not exactly sure what the grounding scheme is. I know that it's dead quiet. I know that I remember Dr. Don when the 4Ks, he used to open them up and have to redo all the grounding scheme. So I'm sure they learned stuff from that. And I really don't know.
Because it's quiet. I mean, that gamble is as quiet as a church mouse,
It's incredibly quiet. Yes. And, very dynamic. Everybody who touches it is like, oh my God, this is what it's supposed to be like. I forgot. We had
very cool.
Taj Mahal's guy used it. I just had Robert Randolph's guy use that. He was new. He'd never been on analog console. So
wow, what was it like to look at his face when he said, wow, how did you guys do this?
He said, he turned to me about 10 minutes in and he goes, this is amazing. I get to mix and I don't have to fix.
Very good. Very cool.
He had to get his head around the idea that all parameters on all channels were available all the time. He didn't have to look for something or scroll. He could just reach over and touch it and something happened.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about the routing, with all the patch cables? How did he relate to that?
Well, I do all that for them because that's a bit of you got to finesse that. So the Achilles heel is always the patch bay. And mine's in pretty good shape, but every once in a while you got to wiggle something or throw a little contact cleaner in there. But once you get it, it pretty much stays solid for the show. I rarely have had anything drop out ever. And if
are all your patch cables nickel or brass?
A lot of them are brass that came with it, and I've got some newer nickel ones. I'd have more, but Scoville keeps forgetting to send me the ones he wants to tell me.
Interesting. Very interesting. Another interesting thing about old timers is that the Roxy Theater, are you guys familiar with the Roxy Theater in Los Angeles? Is there anybody not been to the Roxy Theater in Los Angeles? It's world famous for sure. You've never been to the Roxy Theater? Have you ever been to the Rainbow?
Never been to either one of those, but I've driven past them. Oh
my God, you guys don't know what you're missing. I mean, really, I lived at the Rainbow and the Roxy for years and years and years. Basically, in case you didn't know what it is, Lou Adler, who managed Carole King, and I believe he originally was the owner of A&M Records, I believe, Lou Adler, and Mario Malagari. And what was the other guy's name? There's one more. Jack Nicholson was also involved with the Roxy Theater as well. He owned a club called On the Rocks, which were above the Rocks, which was right above the Roxy. Anyway, they are celebrating their 50th anniversary, and Neil Young will do a benefit concert there on March 21st. Let's see, it was opened March 21st. That was 1974. March 21st, 1974, the Roxy had basically just opened. happened, and I was 22 years old, and I was on vacation. I had gone back to New York, got stuck in New York. I had to get a job, and then I came back to California, where I was living up in Santa Barbara, but I was in Los Angeles staying at my cousin's house, and they went to sleep, and I didn't feel like sleeping. So I got in the car, borrowed their car, was driving down Sunset Boulevard when I came to the Roxy Theater, and I thought it was a movie theater. I didn't recognize a Rainbow Park, got out, and they were having a movie which I'd never heard of, called the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So I paid my $2-3, went inside, but it wasn't a movie. It was the real theatrical play of the Rocky Horror Picture Show with Tim Curry. And it blew my mind. It blew my mind. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And then after the show, everybody said, hey, let's go to the Rainbow. You know, I'm listening. Hey, let's go to the Rainbow right next door, get a drink. And so I went next door to the Rainbow to get a drink. And if you've never been to the Rainbow is really an old-fashioned restaurant with red booths and Italian food and a fireplace. And it's 2 levels. So you walk into the Rainbow and you can either walk to the right and go to the bar, or you can walk to the left and go to the restaurant, or you could walk upstairs where they have a nightclub. So I'm young and looking for fun, and I go upstairs to the nightclub, but it was early after the show had broken, because the Rainbow doesn't really start going till about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. I know that now, but I didn't know that then. And I walked upstairs to the, and I'm looking around, there's nobody there, and I'm getting ready to walk down. And all of a sudden they had this thing called the Crow's Nest. So upstairs, you're upstairs. And then at the very end of the club, in the middle, there were like stairs going up like a crow's nest on a boat. It was only like, 5 or 6 stairs, very steep. And it was a private area that was just one room where people would go that they wanted not to be seen. And all of a sudden I see feet coming down. And the first person I see coming down is Jimmy Page. And I'm saying, oh my God, that's Jimmy Page. And then right behind him was John Lennon. John Lennon, Jimmy Page. And then Alice Cooper came down. I said, oh my God, this place is amazing. And, and I made my mind up right then and there. I was going to move to Los Angeles and live there. And sure enough, I lived in LA for 30 years, lived in Hollywood. That was my first experience at the Rainbow and the Roxy. So there you go. Thought I'd share it with you. And it turns 50 years old today. So anyway, that's about it for me as far as, the production news and the news that I wanted to talk about. But there is something in the news right now, and normally we don't talk politics, but today is an infamous day in the United States, and it's all over the world that the former president of the United States is getting indicted for trying to overthrow the United States democracy, which is pretty impressive. Does anybody have anything that they want to say?
I think it's great that Taylor Swift paid tour bonuses to all her people, really huge tour bonuses. Isn't that amazing?
Well, I guess we don't want to talk about the what's going on in the real news. So let's move on. Yeah, Kenny, I wish you were here when David brought it up.
Oh, sorry. The thing is, and the reason I wanted to change the subject is because nothing's going to happen from that. The guy is going to just keep going on and get more popular with every bad thing that happens to him. It's nuts. People are just crazy. That's my take on it.
What I'm finding right now, maybe you could agree with me or not, but I am finding that anybody who's putting out pro-Trump stories on Facebook, I am unfriending. I don't want to see that side of the story. Is anybody doing that, or am I the only one?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't take it. If any of my Facebook friends defend him or speak highly of him, I either block them from, I don't follow them anymore or something, maybe even disconnect from them. It's just, I don't get it. How could they be so blind to all the foolishness that he's involved in? It's crazy.
Well, eventually it's going to come out to them. It's got to come out. I mean, they have to announce it because he's got this presidential campaign of fundraising, and out of his fundraising, they're going broke because all of his money is going to his legal defense and to those co-conspirators that he's defending. He's paying for their lawyers. It's over $40 million this quarter. I mean, that is insane. Could you imagine? I mean, forget about it. Could you imagine having a bill, opening up your mail and say, legal fees this month, $40 million?
Well, his only chance is to win and pardon himself. So he's got to be all in, because if he doesn't win, he's going to jail.
Oh, I don't think he'll ever go to jail. I think that he'll get house arrest.
Country club jail.
No, he'll get a house arrest. They'll put barbed wire up around Mar-a-Lago, but he ain't going anywhere. The guy's not going to jail.
I think he'll go to the same thing that Martha Stewart went to. Yeah, I don't think he'll get house arrest.
The thing is, he is.
Well, you hold on, Tina. You think they're gonna send Martha Stewart to his house?
No,
he's gonna go to the same kind of jail that Martha Stewart went to.
Oh, I thought his punishment would be that Martha Stewart would be at his house. I thought that would be the punishment. That's not a bad punishment, by the way.
Not if she brings Snoop.
Not if she cooks.
The thing is if they don't give him correct sentencing, then everyone else who's ever been charged with anything like this can appeal. There's already the military guy, the Navy guy who handles secrets. He's already got a lawsuit saying, well, how come I didn't get to stay at home awaiting trial? How come I didn't get to walk without bail? So there's already one lawsuit from that guy already appealing the whole way he's been treated because.
Yeah, well, I can understand that, but the reality is that he will have Secret Service protection for the rest of his life. That's basically baked into the cake. And I would hate to have
if he's in jail, right?
That's right. And I would hate to have that assignment.
That's horrible. That he would have.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine being a Secret Service agent and your job is to protect him, and you have to go to jail? You have to be in jail with him. I mean, come on, that's a crime right there.
You're sitting in a chair outside the door, and then you get relieved in 8 hours. It's not really going to be any different than anywhere he would be.
Yeah. Dave, what do you want to say about this? I'll unmute you, David. You are already unmuted, but I can't hear you. So anyway, Brian, you have anything you want to say?
It's just all politics, and I think we got to start talking about it rather than just texting about it and reading in emails. I think you hit it head on before we come online. Nobody's talking anymore. And
the problem is the popularity of that guy is increasing with everything he gets accused of, right? And so the challenge is for the other political party to come up with a competitor that's worth his weight. We don't have any. The other party doesn't have anybody that's worth. That's going to compete with them at any kind of level. It's ridiculous.
Well, I'll say it here right now because I know Nikki Haley is saying it, and now it's going to get more prevalent because now that Nikki Haley is saying it, she's running for president against him as well. But the reality is it's not the Joe Biden aspect that people hate that much. It's the fact that he's a really old guy. He's going to be 80 years old, and if anything happens to him, then Kamala Harris will become president of the United States, and that right there. That's the rub. And that's why Trump is running away with it in regards to, getting away with what he is. But I will tell you this, it's still early and there's still a possibility that the two people can get into the race that will change everything. One would be Brian Kemp, the governor from Georgia, and the other guy would be Glenn Youngkin from Virginia. And if either one of those guys decide they want to step into the race, they will blow away the rest of the field because they're really concentric guys. They're Republicans in the true sense. They are more right wing than left wing, and that will force the Democrats to leave Joe Biden and find another player, because Glenn Youngkin right now in the polls is far ahead of Joe Biden.
The age argument doesn't make sense with regard to those two because, Trump is only 4 years younger. And if you look at the two of those guys, which one do you think's in better shape? Trump's the one who's going to drop dead way before Joe Biden.
Only the good die young is what they say. Didn't you ever hear that? Only the good die young.
Look at him. Uncle Joe's in pretty good shape for his age, or pretty good shape for anyone's age.
He is good. He's in good shape, but every time he falls or every time he misses a word or whatever. But no, look, the challenge right now is that, and here's the challenge, and you see it in the Senate more than anywhere else, is you've got a guy like Mitch McConnell, who is now giving a speech, and I think he had a stroke right in the middle of that speech. The guy is like, what, he's 85, something like that. And then you got Dianne Feinstein, who's 90 years old. She can't remember what she's talking about. And these people just won't, they just won't step down. And with all due respect to, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she should have retired. Had she would have retired at the top of her game, we would not be in a situation where the Supreme Court would be down to a 40% popularity rate, if not even less. So, I mean, basically, there's got to be some age limits put on people where they have to step down from a government position. I would think that would be the only solution to our problem, because the younger generation can't relate to these people. They're grandparents to them, great-grandpa. So anyway, that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it.
Jan, you added one note in there that brings back something that's been debated for years, is on congressional limits. And they've said for years, well, you can always vote them out every 6 years if you want, but you can't vote them out if they've got the money pool so tied up. I mean, you hit both parties. Two people need to leave, but you can't get them out because they got all the money tied up.
Yeah, they got all the money tied up and they got the name recognition. And our forefathers, or your forefathers, they never thought that government was a full-time job. They never expected it to be a full-time job. That's why Congress gets voted in every 2 years, because they felt that it was going to be a rotating pool of new blood. But once you get in, you get the name recognition, and then you get the political machine working for you, and you're in for the rest of your life. Even if you're a criminal. Look at this guy, George Santos. How is it possible that this guy is still a congressman?
Well, I mean, you got it on both sides of the aisle. It's both sides. So, and with that,
I'm telling you, Dianne Feinstein, she's 90 years old.
Yes, both sides. There are many pieces of shit in our government leadership, and they should not be in those positions.
No, the problem is power. Once you give someone power, they feel that they're the only one that can control that power, and they know what's better for you than you know for yourself, because they're the ones in the power. And I was talking to a friend the other day, and we were talking about politicians and how one was more dishonest than the other. And I said to him, if you tell me the name of one honest politician, I would be shocked. And the worst thing that could happen is if it got out that he was an honest politician, his career would be over. And it's international in scope. Wayne, am I right? You're in Australia.
Look, I can't comment on that, Jan. I don't
You can't comment that you're in Australia?
No opinion. No opinion.
Wayne, you're telling me you can't comment that you're in Australia? Come on, you're in
I can
Australia.
comment that I'm in Australia, but I don't know about the politics.
Well, hey.
Politics is trouble.
All right. Well, we've spoken enough about everything today. Does anybody have anything else they want to say before we say goodbye to those people that are watching us on social media?
I'm good.
All right. I guess not. So say goodbye, everybody, and say goodbye to those people that are watching on social media. Remember, you could be part of this. All you have to do is DM me and we'll send you an invite, or follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, give us the thumbs up, subscribe, do everything you can to assist us, because we're having fun. Next week will be 168, so consecutive times in a row, I might add. And I really appreciate everybody coming. Just remember, everything you heard today was an opinion, so do your own research. And the last thing I'm going to say is, as I always say, just remember, you make it happen. Go out, make it happen. Stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now.
Have a good gig, Kenny.
So can you guys hear me now? Finally?
Yeah. Have a
Yes.
good gig.